YouTube, it's Brad Phillips, 90mm Viper. That thing is super awesome. We've already set up the pilot fatigue setting, and we're gonna show you what it looks like today. We're gonna try a couple of grass hops, and we're gonna take off and land on the runway. All right, so here we go, guys. Takeoff flaps are dialed in. We're actually gonna go over here into the grass and show you a takeoff from the grass. It's probably 4 days in. As you can see, it does it, but we were a little bit short on runway. Okay, full landing flaps. Gear coming out, trying a slightly different approach than normal. Got to go over by the eagle killing zone. And reverse thrust. There we are, guys.
Wow.
Pilot fatigue setting and all. So that was up and down in the same spot. And that's the way we do it here on the grass, I suppose. The grass obviously slows down the rollout, so you have plenty of room. Let's see how this thing does back taxiing a little bit. Throttle cuts off, takeoff flaps out. And here we go. Oh, still in reverse, controllable reverse. You'll notice it did tip up on its nose a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and taxi back onto the runway. That's some pretty bouncy stuff there. Oh, goodness gracious. Guess we're gonna come up here. There we go. So just to show you, throttle cuts on. Everything is still solid. We've got plenty of play on everything. And then let's do a little back taxi. Then we'll take off toward the tree line. We're really rough over here, so I'm gonna carry a little bit of speed and turn around the plane here. Got a little bit of bounce there. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab that actually because I'm over the edge. We had to wait for some manned aircraft there, and throttle cuts off. We're in forward thrust, and I've got one wheel hooked over the edge so I can get some throttle up here. Guys, this plane is so cool to fly. Pull landing flaps, let's slow it down. Okay, so I'm gonna go out there. See how slow? It's almost like it's fake because it's so slow. That is awesome. Exactly the way I love it, guys. Gear coming out. Want to stay controllable here. Okay, throttle cuts on. Let's go look at the damage. All right, so are you back? Okay, so throttle cuts on. I'm out of my pilot fatigue setting. The camera crew is gonna hold the remote. Let's take a look at what we did. I bent one of these things. Oh man, that's unfortunate right there. See, bent the aluminum right there. Because I just must have really hit it hard. My guess is it's probably gonna break when I try to straighten it. So now we get to see how that goes, trying to get that straight. Very strong landing gear, but evidently I found the weak point. See? But I felt like we had pretty good amount of authority there, and we had the speed and everything good. So I just came in and got that one little bunny hop, and by the time I was bunny hopping, I already had full thrust reverse. So it was just kind of doing its own thing at that point. But the landing gear otherwise did really good. So we're gonna go ahead and pause, see if we can get that corrected and come right back. Okay, so we are gonna pull off this gear door cover with Phillips screwdriver. So there's 2 screws. The camera crew is gonna show you what it looks like from the correct side over here. So you can see there's 2 screws there. One's bigger, one's smaller. We'll lay that aside, and then we're gonna get in here to these snap rings so we can separate these components. And part of the reason why I'm showing you this process now, these things like to shoot across the room. So you need to be real super careful when you take them out. It's challenging to get them sometimes, and sometimes it's super easy. It just kind of depends on which one you're playing with. And this thing's gonna wanna come out too, so just be prepared for that at some point. I'm just getting one side on each. It's an awkward angle. Okay, so that didn't quite do it. There, it's about to pop off. Okay, so you see how I've got it about to fall off? So then now that that's about to fall off, now I can just drop that down and keep it on my fingertip. Now I'm gonna take on my fingertip and lay it on top of this cover. And then I'm gonna just leave that, I think I'm gonna probably leave that in there. And then I'm gonna try to pop this one off. You know, I might try an X-Acto knife too and just see how that works. Because really we just need a little something to get that lifted up out of there. Okay, so X-Acto knife has a real sharp blade, which can get you into these tight spots like this. Okay. Okay, just I've got the blade going backward, so I'm just trying to be careful not to cut myself. Okay, that sort of gave me a start, but it didn't quite get it all the way out. This just happens to be a 0.9 millimeter hex driver, and then this is just a Phillips screwdriver. So I'm gonna try it the same way I did before, but just you don't want these things to shoot across the room because they're very difficult to find then. It's gonna go up. Okay, got it. Okay, but I did scratch my aluminum. See? That's really frustrating. Okay, so I'm laying this other keeper down. They are the same size, it looks like, the other snap ring or whatever you want to call that thing. Okay, now I'm going to push this one out first just to see. Yeah, they both move really easy. This is some like really, really nice machining for an RC airplane. So I'm just pushing these pins out. This might lift, so you need to be prepared to deal with that, okay? Yep, you see, it popped up immediately. So there's your machined pin. Okay, so I'll lay that aside. And then I'm gonna push this one out next. And this may force the whole assembly up, so just be aware. So my objective is to basically separate this assembly, okay? So since I don't need that in my hand, I'm just gonna stick it back in there. And I'm gonna take this other piece and I'm gonna stick it back in here, just one less thing to figure out later, what direction they all came out. Okay, so that's gonna be, look how strong all this stuff is. It's just incredible. So this obviously is our problem here. So I don't know if that's gonna be bendable or not, but if it's not bendable, then I'm gonna figure out a way to replace it somehow. But you can see we've got that nasty bend there. And so I think the best thing to do would be to probably take this wheel off and then use this, brace it, and then I can try to bend it back. And it's probably gonna break. But it's worth a shot, you know. If it gets me 2 or 3 more bad landings before it breaks in half, then that's fine with me. To be honest with you, it held the plane off the ground, so it protected the plane from damage. This is a lot bigger snap ring, so it should be a little bit harder to get off, but a little bit easier to get the tools on there to actually pull it off. I'm gonna get a slightly larger tool for this one. We'll go to maybe 1.5 millimeter. I could use 2, actually I'm gonna use 2 Phillips screwdrivers because 2 Phillips screwdrivers will be the same. And they work fine. They give you that little groove to kind of hang on to. Okay. The snap ring is kind of right on top of the bearing that goes in the wheel. Okay, this might shoot off, so camera crew, you're gonna have to be paying attention to. It's definitely awkward to do these, but it can be done. Oh, of course I would scratch that too. So when I push this from behind, it lifts up, and I think that's what I was fighting. Okay. So I'm gonna get that little groove of the Phillips into that edge, and then just roll back toward the camera crew's side. It's very challenging to get them. I'm watching it. It's on the ground.
Yep. Got it.
Okay, so the camera crew's got that one. I'm gonna lay these screwdrivers down and then
Where do you want that one?
in my hand.
Wait, got it.
And then that's going on top of my gear door cover.
Okay.
And then as you can see, the bearing is right there. Okay, and I'm just gonna hold this so it doesn't fall off. Okay, so you get a close look at the wheels. And then you've got this shaft. Okay, and that's what's gonna actually receive the wheel, and you can see we're bent. It's gonna be very evident when you get that straight. So I might need to have two crescent wrenches for this application. Now this is, I'm about 99% sure this is aluminum, so it's probably gonna break. If it's not aluminum, I'd be surprised. So you see the reason I use a crescent wrench is because I can get in there and just really get a good purchase on there. And then I can bend at the exact angle I'm trying to straighten it, and I'm only gonna compromise one piece if it breaks, okay? So I straightened this a little teeny bit already, right there. Now I can take and move this to the next spot where it's kind of straight. Okay, I can kind of get as wide a bite as possible. And then I'm only bending the spot that I want to bend, okay? But I've got a twisting effect now. See how it's straightening a little bit? I'm just gonna real carefully work my way up, and it's probably gonna break. I'm just planning on it at this point, because these things are not designed to be bent like that. And see, we got a little bit of a twist on there too. Just a little teeny bit of twist. Now that we can resolve with this too. So we can actually twist that way when we're ready. Okay, so I'm gonna get that. Okay, I need another tool, so I'll be right back. I gotta go get another crescent wrench. So I just got a few more of these because they're all on one hook together. So I can lay these down. You're probably thinking, why are you using that crappy one when you got these nicer ones? Just because that's what's in the drawer in the kitchen. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to take this twist out right now. So what I do is I just basically take the component that's in question, okay? And then I just find an angle where I can get leverage. See how I'm holding this, this is my square point. Now I'm gonna get my leverage and just straighten it, see? Now that's getting straighter each time, just a little bit at a time. Like I said, if it breaks, it breaks. It's not the end of the world. But if it breaks, I mean, if it doesn't break, then I can go back out and fly some more right now, which is why I'm trying this. I need a smaller, well, I'm gonna, see, I wanna hold it here, but it looks like that inside of that curve, I'm gonna be just too wide. Yeah, I might be about, I'm gonna go one size down. Maybe I'll go smaller like this. I'll just use a smaller crescent wrench. See, then that's gonna allow me to bite in there where the bend isn't necessarily, okay? So this is, the reason I show you these processes is just because there's a lot of people that are new in the hobby, and I wanna teach you that sometimes you can just fix stuff, and then other times you gotta buy parts. Like, I'm probably gonna end up having to buy a part for this because it's broken. And like I said, it's not the end of the world because they can be purchased. It's probably an expensive part though, unfortunately. And that's just what happens sometimes when you get an expensive plane. And that's press fit, guys. So it's not like that just comes out. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the angle I want. I'd really like to be able to pull this straight. But see, I can't hold this, so I'll show you what I'm gonna do on that. I'm gonna get this down to where it's quite tight, okay? So I'm just kind of rocking it and getting as much play out of that as I can. And then check this out. It's almost like using another vise. You could do this with a vise too, but you'd need several. You see what I did there? I hung on to the head of the second one, just like this. And then I can create my leverage. Okay, I want to sit up on top of the couch with the bottom of this so it doesn't slip out and hit a foot or land on the ground. Okay. So you see, I'm just holding here. That gives me the ability to get leverage right where I need it. See how that's straightening? It feels soft, which is kind of a scary feeling. Okay, so you see? Just slowly, and then I can really get that bend right where I want it, okay? Remember, I'm not trying to design anything. I'm just trying to get it back to that same spec. And it's probably gonna break. I feel like it's gonna break anytime, okay? And if it breaks, then we know. Okay, you see how as I make my corrections, I'm looking at the way that this stuff is lined up. And I'm thinking, okay, I need to move my bend here, or my bend here, or my bend here, or my bend here, or whatever. And then I center so that what I'm pulling is exactly where I need to pull. Okay, and then we got to twist this a little bit more. See, we're kind of still out of alignment there. And so my goal is to try to take a little bit at a time from each of those different directions. Okay, because when it twisted on that bad landing, it twisted all at once, and it twisted based on the direction everything was going. Okay, so this time I need to kind of twist it out like this a little bit. So I'm gonna go like this and then try to twist it just a little bit. Yeah, see, that's really close now.
Better, yeah.
Getting really, really close. Nah, it needs a little bit more. I'm gonna go to the base of this and see if I can take the twist and let some of that, more of the material, take the twist. Okay, I'm gonna twist it just a little bit more. That's getting pretty darn close. So now we gotta finish the bend.
How much more does it need to go?
A little bit more, because this needs to be true to that.
Oh, okay.
So now that we've got that, I'm gonna try switching them like this just to see if I can get a little better leverage where I want it. And see, I'm just resting it on my hip. And then I'm just gonna try to bend it. But I want the bend to be right here, not out here where the tip was. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I gotta support it where I want it to bend. Okay. See how I moved it in a little bit there? Mm-hmm. We're really, really close. So this needs to go up just a hair more. So this needs to get collapsed over a little bit. And I really want it to fold, right? I've got a little bit of an overbend here. So I want to go up here into this thinner part. Mm-hmm. This is actually going way smoother than I thought it would. I think I'm going to hold it like this time. And that way it can kind of bend through the whole arm a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's going to be potentially good enough, like I said, for another couple bad landings. Okay? Guys, that's pretty dang close. That might be good. Now, let's take this over to the plane and let's just look and compare and contrast. Looks like I'm just shy on my angle. I got to go just a little teeny bit more over. You guys see that? Okay. So I got to go just a hair more. And yes, this will be weaker as a result. Quite a bit weaker. I mean, to the point where it's going to break easier now. Maybe even under normal workload. But I'm okay with that because it's better than being replaced right now. Then if I was a smart person, I would stop flying it and order a part, and then it would be here when I need it. Okay, so now I want to overbend it. I want to underbend it there and then overbend it here. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm just straightening this shaft, making sure it's straight. And I can sand that to actually get those rough edges, but if you don't have a sander, you can just use the edge of another tool that's a harder material. And that'll take off those rough burrs. Guys, that might be good. I don't know if this angle is perfect. Kind of hard to tell. I think we're good though. So let's see if we can, I'm gonna try to take this and just see how flat it is with this, like using the teeth as a gauge or the face of it as a gauge. I feel like I need to probably pull that down just ever so slightly. So like this, now I'm gonna just pull it down just a hair. Okay, see what I'm talking about? Now it's flat. Okay, so to be perfectly frank, I'm super surprised that that went as good as it did. And part of the reason we show you these things is to, first of all, show that we have problems too with our planes, self-induced most of the time. But second of all, we want to show you that, like, look how serviceable this stuff is. You could not do this on planes 5 years ago. Well, that's not true. There were planes that were more expensive than we were flying at the time. But generally speaking, it was not an option. Okay, you couldn't just do that. Okay, look at this. Look how tight those tolerances are now. And it's perfect. Wait, is it perfect?
Spin it again? Well,
I think maybe it feels almost like it's like maybe just a little bit too far down this way. Maybe I need to go up just ever so slightly, just barely at all. Barely at all. I mean, like barely at all. I just need to grab this whole thing and just go like this. Just barely at all. Like half a degree, okay? So now we try again. And some of you guys are like, man, that's extreme cheapskate moves. You better believe it, baby. Okay, so we've got that, I would call perfect-ish. Now I'm gonna put this snap ring back on. It's a lot easier to put these back on, in my experience. And yes, there is a little bit of a wear and tear there, which is unfortunate, but I can live with that. Then I'm gonna grab a pair of needle nose pliers. Needle nose pliers, just like standard needle nose pliers. And I'm just gonna real carefully grab the opposite side, and then I'm gonna grab it with this and pop it on there. Pop, done with that one. Yes, I did scratch that one too, unfortunately, when I was taking it off. But again, scratched is better than not flyable.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you kind of amazed that we got that fixed? Me too. I thought for sure it was gonna break. I was like 99% sure. My camera crew was like cleaning up to be done tonight, and I'm like, wait, we're not done yet.
I've seen you fix a lot of things, but
I mean, you can't like manifest strength
Right.
into aluminum.
yeah.
Okay, so we can pin that at any time, but I'd just soon go ahead and wait and make sure that this all goes back together, right?
Okay.
Ooh, you see that?
really tricky.
I gotta actually pin it the other direction. I put it on the wrong way. It's gotta be on the other side first, up here first. Then this goes on from that side. Gosh, this is so like precision machined. Like we just don't have stuff like this in the RC world. Well, I haven't. I know that a lot of you guys are probably screaming at the TV saying, yeah, Brian, we've had it for years just on more expensive planes than you've reviewed. And that is true. That is probably true. But I mean, guys, this is a bind and fly plane, for goodness sakes. It's not like it's an ARF. Okay, you see where that went?
Oh,
that
the
one.
pin.
Yeah, the pin rolled down in there. So, hey, just, we're gonna pause and grab that real quick. Okay, so I got it back. By the way, that sun's behind me, so you're gonna have to probably change your angle a little bit, I bet. Like to here. So now this has to get pushed down so that we can push this pin through. Okay, right here. And as soon as it's pushed down far enough, this is gonna be harder than it looks, I bet, because that spring is a lot of pressure. Maybe I can just hold it there and then use another tool to push it down. I wonder if I can use a flat screwdriver. So you guys may realize, but we still have the power onto this plane too, because as soon as I'm done, the first thing I have to do is cycle the gear to test everything. How's the exposure with that backdrop there,
It's fine
Kim?
right now.
I don't want to stab myself. It's in.
There you go.
Okay, so now, just to be clear, I have to kind of relieve some of the load as I push down on this. Show the people at home from the front of it how nice that looks. Come back here and line up like this. See this twist here? There's a little bit of a twistiness to it. I think we're still good. If you look at that twist, I think we're good. That twist is just a manifestation of the way we've fixed it. And then if you look from this side, we're good there. Okay, so I think we're good on that.
Okay.
So now I gotta get those pins back on, and then I gotta get the gear door back on, which should just take a few seconds. So let's try getting these little snap rings. So this is where we're gonna have to have our eyes on in case this thing pops off and shoots across the room. Okay, so I'm gonna lay it on the top. See how easy that fell? Mm-hmm. That was pretty crazy. And then sometimes licking my finger, it'll make it stick to your finger. I know it's kind of gross, but it's a reality we live in. So what I was gonna say is sometimes what you have to do is you have to actually bend these back, like you have to squish them laterally to get them to bite again. But then a lot of times you'll fold them, so just be real super careful, okay? So you push that on most of the way with my finger, and it's so small it about cuts you. Then I have to try to slide this down and on. Trying to do it in such a way that I don't mar the finish like I did earlier. Like I said, marred finish is better than not flyable. Oh, for goodness sake, I got it.
Yep.
Okay. So far, so good. We got one more snap ring and then everything else is Phillips screws. Super duper easy. Okay. And this one's just in a little bit weirder spot, but it should be incrementally easy. Oh my goodness. That pin does not want to push through. Oops. There it is. Okay. Now I'm going to take this pin. It's very hard for you guys to see, I know, because it's like held in my fingers. Fingernail push down. Oh yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Awesome. Okay, great. This is like super, super surprisingly getting fixed. Okay, now 2 screws, one bigger, one smaller. Just pushing it up against there. And then in you go. You know what's so nice about this plane?
What?
Is it doesn't stall on my base leg when I go under the power lines for landing that direction. But what I did was I got ahead of myself and rushed the reverse thrust. Although, to my defense, you got to be on it to get the thrust reverse to work on this plane.
Yeah.
Because it takes time for it to all to manifest. Incredible.
Wow.
All right, folks, there you have it. So we are going to get reset and come right back and show you a flight right now, flying from the same spot. All right, so we got the 5006S in here. We just got done fixing our retract, okay? So you can see where that is. We just got done fixing that retract up by my head here. We got bent pretty bad on a nasty landing here. We're gonna try flying this thing again. It's really calm. 5,000 should give us a little bit more flexibility in terms of how long it takes to slow down and things like that, because you're gonna carry a little bit less weight. You'll hopefully slow down a little better. You'll go faster, but you can slow down quicker. All right, so wheels off the edge there. Timer's cleared. Throttle cuts off. Takeoff flaps engaged. Forward thrust is on. Here we go. Oh, those gear are gorgeous still. Okay, you wanna go about 5 steps forward so I can go either side of you? No. Thank you. Stop there. Perfect. Okay, guys, we're not messing around. We're gonna try this right away. Too early on the gear, guys. Man, look how good that thing's so Johnny on the spot with that 5,000. Look how slow you can fly, guys. And look at that beautiful sunset, by the way. Okay, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Man, this thing is just a rock solid plane, folks. Rock solid. See my problem, folks? I'm like literally carrier landing it here. Trying to come in as slow as possible. You know what? I'm gonna try another approach. And you'll notice I'm in full landing configuration. I'm not messing around. Going out here, I gotta get somewhere I can bleed off a little bit more speed. And there's this gap right here. Man, those lights are helpful now. See? I just carried too much speed there. Out of flaps, out of gear. Guys, I love flying this plane. I don't want to crash it, but at the same time, I'm gonna make it my friend. Family show here. You guys all know what I meant. Full landing flaps here. Oh yeah, baby. That was pretty good. I didn't even use up the whole runway. But you know what happened there? The nose lifted. You know why? Because this thing is very on the tail heavy side right now, so I can flare the thing whenever I want. I could flare it in flight anytime, and I can do that. So we have plenty of flight. We're at 4.2. Are we really at 4.2 already? Oh, this is a 5,000, I guess. There we go. 24.1. We should be okay. We're good to go. We're safe. We'll do some grass ops takeoff here. This thing is so Johnny on the spot right now. I'm having to push down elevator. You see the full down elevator there just to keep it on the ground? Let's show the people a takeoff with the 5,000. Those landing gear are freaking tanks, guys. I don't know if you saw a repair, if you skipped over it somehow. I'm not sure how you did that. Okay, takeoff flaps. Here we go. Down elevator and bounce that thing. Jeez. That is just incredible, folks. Gear going up.
A heart attack tonight.
Why? Guys, I have to have a high-speed pass. It's happening right now. You good?
Yep.
And gear. That is so incredible, folks.
7, 6, 5,
Gear coming down, takeoff flaps coming down.
1.
Okay. Super slow. Look at that thing. It looks like it's driving in the air. It's like a radio-controlled car up there. Look how slow it's going. Anybody seen a carrier around here? Sorry, I can't resist that line. It's perfect for what we're doing. I got that sucker slowed down as slow as I can and flare up. Guys, look at that landing. That was incredible. Oh man, I'm so proud of myself. I didn't even need the thrust reverse.
It was good.
That was incredible, guys. All you got to do is crash it like 7 times and then you'll get it perfect. Maybe. Maybe.
It was good.
3.88 per cell. 3.88, 3.9, little recovery action going here. Don't forget the reverse thrust. That little bit of elevator correction that we added in the last video has really worked. I don't know if you guys are seeing this as a compilation of a bunch of landings, like 20 of them out there, but it is a huge, huge, beautiful feeling when you get stuck right on that landing right there. It's beautiful. I love it. I mean, it's not a very long strip, and this is a fairly big plane. For God's sakes, it goes 140 miles an hour or whatever they tell us. I don't know. Maybe it goes 120. Maybe it's 110. I don't know. All I know is it's fast. It's huge. I love it. You should too. Buy one for yourself. Follow the links in the description below. If you haven't seen how we set up our pilot fatigue, check this out. Okay, that's how that works. I'm holding this up so it doesn't tip over, because on that 5,000, it's a little tipsy. And look at that, guys, tracking straight as an arrow. Absolutely no side effect from our crappy landing, other than the 30 minutes it took to fix it.
It was less.
Was it really? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's 32 minutes including the flight time. I was looking at the time when when we were off camera. Look how light it is on the nose wheel. Every time you hit a little bump, that nose wheel chatters because there's like no weight on it. Okay, so check this out. Watch this, barely moving. I bet I could roll. Nope, I'm not gonna do it. So guys, here's the moral of the story. Let's go get another battery and fly some more. 7,000, I changed my mind. We were gonna put a 4 in here, but then I'm like, that's lame. Let's put 7,000 in here so we can fly more than whatever 3.5 minutes constitutes a full flight. You gotta remember, when you're shooting takeoffs and landings with this plane, it is an amazing experience. I love flying this plane. It is very rewarding because it's not as hard as some other jets, and it's so easy to put the batteries in. Look at this. Look at the straps, all free. That is a big deal to me, by the way. And yes, I know that just rhymed. I didn't mean it. It was unintentional rhyming. See that, what I'm talking about? You can push that all the way down, push down on the plane, and then you can get that sucker in there tight and very effectively. Then this thing, I usually drop the extra on a 7,000. You can drop that wherever. I'm gonna put it on top of this strap. So you see how easy this is. You got plenty of room to get your fingers in, so you can grab that out. It's so much easier than some other jets that we've done. Some jets, it's such a pain to put the batteries in that you're just like, you know what? I don't think so. I know you guys probably think I'm nuts, but once you get a few of them, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's just kind of like get out of jail free card in case it starts slipping. Just kind of keeps it honest a little bit. See, if it starts sliding forward, it's not going to get worse. It might go back, but back, it's not going to go back. It's not like we got thrust reversed on this. Oh, wait, never mind. I take it back. Okay, so throttle cut is on. We've got updated values, 4.19 or 4.2. We're going to take this thing off. We'll probably, oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys realize this, but we fixed a bunch of Mars and stuff when we went into the ditch the other day. We got caught by the grass, and we showed how to fix it. We used the lightweight spackle finally. I don't really like taking off from the grass because it's rough, but this plane will do fine in grass. You got to keep in mind our grass is not super smooth. It is not like the sod, like over here is basically sod.
It's not bad.
Over here is pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's like hay grass basically. Okay, so throttle cuts off, man, beautiful sunset. Takeoff flaps dialed in. Here goes nothing. Look at this roll. Look at this, guys, 7,000. 75-degree angle, going straight up. Roll it around. So beautiful, guys. Full landing flaps. Watch how much it slows down going downhill with 7,000. Okay, guys. We're gonna try to get into a final. We got takeoff flaps deployed. We got landing flaps still waiting. They're stowed away for now. Landing flaps out. Slowing down, bleeding off energy. I screwed that one up. It's funny, I put the gear up just to make my turn and then I put them right back out. Anytime I fly with the sun like that, it reminds me of the closing credits of Top Gun 1. Here pretty quick, we're gonna have to always say that. Yeah, Top Gun 1, not the second one. Not the stupid one. Oh, yeah! I don't know if I could get it that much better. That was with the 7,000, it just carries, you know? That was with full thrust reverse. As soon as those three wheels are down, bam, it's full thrust reverse. And by the way, I was sticking that stick. Now this stick I can do. This stick, throttle cuts on. I can't do that. I can't do that when I'm in a hurry landing and all those things are going through my brain. I just can't, I can't do that. I should be able to, but I can't. So we've got more flight time. We're at 4.1, you know.
Oh,
well, 4.06. We should be fine to do at least another flight. Maybe we'll try sticking a landing here, see how it works.
Okay.
We have calm, we should be able to do it.
That's true.
I'm just reserving battery for flight time, and it's real rough over here.
Yeah.
So there's no sense in bouncing along if you don't have to.
Yeah.
And yes, I always drop the wheels down over the edge of the concrete because that just gives me more speed as I'm getting ready to fire up. So here goes nothing, guys. Takeoff flaps dialed in. Here we go, full throttle. Gear up. Full throttle still. That is just amazing. Takeoff flaps, landing flaps. Did I give you enough room so you can get over my head there?
Yep.
10% throttle. Landing flaps. 15% throttle, 10% throttle. Kind of feeling it. Nope, don't like it. Out of the flaps, out of the gear. You know why I didn't like it?
Too fast?
I had to yaw. I had to yaw into position. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I'm currently bleeding off some energy in case you guys were wondering what the heck I'm doing. Takeoff flaps are deployed, gear coming down. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't feel it. 10% throttle. Keep that engine spooled up. Base leg, a little bit of slip, Get Johnny on the spot with your throttle. If you need it, full landing flaps going in right now, right over the top of the tree line, dropping down as soon as I can. Oh, we got this. And yes, that is correct. I gave full reverse thrust when I was about that much off the ground because I wanted to. But I also gave full down elevator too. So, is that not beautiful? Oh my goodness, it looks fake. All right, 3.9, we're doing it again.
Okay.
You can pause while I get reset.
All right.
Okay. Almost the exact same landing. I mean, I took off and immediately landed. I just can't quite get my angle over there. I don't have enough real estate. We're gonna try again and we're gonna get it this time. The gear coming out quick. Full landing flaps in, guys. Base leg. It just likes to pull to the left. I don't know what to do. Okay, we're gonna do it again until we get it right. Yes! Yes! Okay, we finally got one down on the ground. Did you notice what happened there?
Yeah.
It popped off the ventral fins. Let's go show the people how hard it is to fix
what it
that.
was?
Yep, it's okay. I just was so caught up with it for a minute that I forgot to put it out of the pilot fatigue mode.
Oh.
So look what happened to ventral fins, guys. I want to show you how hard it is to fix that. Both of them came off. That is hilarious. Okay, camera crew, hold this for just a sec.
Got it.
All right, so the ventral fins are removable by clip only. Both of them came off.
Or by your bumpy sod.
By your bumpy side. Yeah, guys, look at that. It's
That's
not smooth.
Sod, it's dirt.
Oops.
Yeah, there you go.
Gosh, I can't even hardly see, hon. Because I'm like way on the wrong spot. Am I going in the right spot?
You are now push back.
I'm gonna have to have that. I'll have to push it back in. That's how hard it is to fix the ventral fins, folks. Did I get those in all the way?
I think so.
I have to close my flaps. My flaps are down. So you guys see that? This is the type of design features we're getting nowadays. Okay, we're pausing. All right, guys, we're at 3.86 volts, all right? This is gonna be it, probably. Gear coming back. Full landing gear, or full landing flaps. Slip, 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 down. Woo! Okay, we're trying it again. We'll pause. All right, here we go, guys. Doing it again. Gear coming out. Take off flaps. Slip, slip, get that angle in there. Get that alpha, get that alpha. Slip it, slip it. Terrible, terrible, but it's on. It's on the ground. All right, we'll reset again. Full landing flaps. Relaxing in, slipping, slipping, nose up attitude, nose up attitude. Out of the slip, full reverse. Both directions. There you have it, guys. 3.75 volts per cell still. That 7,000 is absolutely the way to go. Sorry,
Plane's running away.
plane's running away. It's like, please stop.
Please don't make me do it again.
Yeah, please don't make me do it again. Okay, so it's stopped now. The thrust reverse makes this thing so much fun. But I have to admit, man, this thing flies so good. It is so good. It is so fun. It is so challenging. And yet it's so rewarding. If you guys don't have one yet, you may want to think about getting one. I can also tell you this. I can't believe how good the retracts are on these new e-flite planes. You saw how I destroyed that F-16's land gear on basically the maiden rolling off the end of the driveway here. I fixed that and I've bent it straight a couple of times. I took out the shaft that was press fit, threaded it, put in my own bolt, and I've been able to fix it like 3 times since then. And now I've got that one to where I could maybe do the same thing. That still rolls out a lot more. But I'm telling you guys, this this Viper in the 90 millimeter is amazing. I'm loving it. It is so much fun. You guys can see I'm finally sitting here practicing like I should have done on some of the past planes. And it is just, you know, anybody can fly a plane straight really fast, okay? Let's just be honest. Anybody can do that, okay? My wife can probably do that, right?
Yeah.
You just can't turn it and get it back home.
Land it. Yeah.
So the thing is, flying fast and straight, and even low passes, relatively low, dangerously low, very dangerously crashing low passes. Anybody can do that.
I know that for sure.
But I'm trying to get to the point where I can land on this very limited runway with the bigger jets. And I'll tell you what, without the thrust reverse, it's a no-go. So it feels so good when you land it and it does exactly what you want. Now, obviously, we've demonstrated a few that were not good today, but I'm telling you, even with the 70, if I come in here on base leg and I turn it too sharp, that thing will slip out from under me. And that only slipped out from under me one time. And to be honest, it wasn't even that bad. It didn't totally get away from me. So I think what's going on is if you get the CG just right on this plane, and I'm talking you ride it maybe 3 to 5 millimeters behind the mark that they give us for the furthest back mark, and you balance it on that, that thing will pivot and roll whenever you want it, however you want, with 7,000 even. So I'm loving the way this thing is flying. It's a great plane. It's expensive, everybody knows that. But the thing is, it's worth it. And if you get one 7,000, look how long we've been flying this thing. I mean, I've been jabbering a lot. So 22 minutes over the 3.5, and we did a lot of reset time. And I wasn't pushing it. I was up and down, which to be honest, takeoff is not an easy time for the batteries. You're pushing it hard to get, you know, no kinetic energy to flying. And then one pass down. Guys, do it. It's fun. I love touch and goes. It doesn't always make for great video when I crash a bunch. But the thing is, we're real with you here. Sometimes we crash these planes. We are definitely not perfect. I'm very not perfect, just ask the camera crew. But this plane is amazing. I love it. It's very good. Now, that being said, have we done other good planes? Absolutely, we have. It is not the only fish in the sea, and we get that. But right now and right here, this plane is sweet. Do I still like the F-16 Falcon better? 80 millimeter? Yeah. It's totally nonsensical, because look how sweet that was.
But if you would have grown up as a kid watching Viper jets, I think you would love, like, it's just a childhood thing. Like, you're always going to love that plane, no matter what.
I grew up watching the
Watching
F-16s fly from the Des Moines airport. And I lived on the south side near the airport, and we watched them. They would always fly in squadrons, Usually it was 4, sometimes it was 6, and you'd hear it and you'd be like, hold on. Hold on. Here they come. And you could tell because you just knew.
Yeah.
So it's one of those childhood things. The camera crew is right. But at the same time, I loved planes as a kid too.
Yeah.
But I didn't have planes like this. If I was a kid now, it would be very bad for my budget. Very, very, very bad.
There's an adult kid.
Well, yes, that's right. So anyway, the moral of the story is work hard, buy this plane, take off and land with it because it's so much fun. And then, you know, throw in a high-speed pass here and there. But I'm telling you, the fun part is getting the landings down. It's so much fun. And that's why we've done now 2 landing videos in a row, which to some of you, I'm sure is like, okay, Brian, we get the point. Well, I'm still not quite there. So there might be some more coming. But anyway, we have a lot more, and not just the Viper. We have a lot more coming, and it's going to be very good. So please stay tuned. Guys, support us however you want. Obviously, watch, like, subscribe, buy stuff from the links. We get small commissions. We're affiliated with these companies very loosely in that way. We don't try to hide behind that. These planes are great. They speak for themselves, guys. Here's the thing. If you don't like this plane, get the 70. If you don't like that one, get the A10. If you don't like the A10, get the F-15 Eagle. You know, there's so many of them. It's not like it matters which one you buy. You're supporting us if you buy what you're going to buy anyway. So that being said, we ask you to do that. Now, what we don't ask you to do is do Patreon. And we are humbled by the people that are doing Patreon and supporting us with straight up cash money. Keep in mind, the small donations get higher fees, so less of your hard-earned money makes it into our pockets. Keep that in mind. I'm only saying that so you guys understand what's going on. You don't have to do it at the levels, but if you do it at the levels, the lowest levels have a higher fee structure. So just be aware of that. And we don't list any special tier bonuses or whatever, just
Benefits
because
or whatever.
that will mean you're paying sales tax on it. We don't want you guys to have to pay tax. We hate paying tax. So you guys should too. That'll leave more money for planes. But that being said, after all those things, guys, the biggest thing you can do is come back for more.